Parents said that this was a positive meeting. It was mainly a time for them to gain a full understanding of everything that's going on with the district. If you look around me, you see these cones? Well, the rock from what came down from that bridge, that's what's under there. We're going to go ahead and let you look at the pothole. Now, since then, the hole has been covered with a metal covering, so not causing an issue right now. We can hear drivers going by just fine.
Best headwear we've seen on our newscast tonight. I'm digging that hat.
Mike, and I wore it just because I knew you would like it. I knew you were the only person that wouldn't think my hat was silly. But yes, winter weather here in Shelby County, but now in the area where I am, I'll show you what's left of that snow. If you come down here with me, this puddle, that's all that's left. We don't want to forget the people who lost their lives. We're going to go over here. This memorial has been set up for everyone who lost their lives during the tornado, but specifically this name in the middle. It was all pretty good and calm till about, 20 minutes before the show started. It was like the weather went to sleep and woke up in a bad mood. Even if I wanted to drive off in this, like you said, I couldn't right now because as you can see, the tire has been slashed. It's flat. Two of them are flattened on this vehicle. You hear them already? You can probably see them too, Mike. So the changes, they're going to add some turn lanes, change some of the traffic signals. 27 intersections we're talking about here. I have a tiny riddle for you tonight. What gets stuffy, consistently flows, and can give you a headache?
Kind of sounds like a head cold. Close?
I knew you were going to say that. It's not a head cold. It's Highway 280. Not a lot of traffic right now, but at certain points during the day, it can give you a headache. As soon as we got to the meeting, almost immediately, the board voted unanimously to go into an executive session. We saw some embers fly over and actually set a bush on fire, but firefighters put that out rather quickly. Now, Mike and Ani, one of the biggest things here also is if you're coming through this area, you're not going to be able to drive down University because it's been blocked off. Lupe Fiasco had a very touching moment. He actually brought a little boy on stage who is battling cancer to actually perform with him. So that was a very exciting moment there. But right now, we're all waiting for Snoop Dogg to come out. And I'm telling you, once he comes out, this Alabama's 13 platform will be rocking because I will be dancing on it myself. It's been a busy week for police, one that's filled with the conversation that they don't like to have with families. The one when they have to tell them that their loved one is dead. And people are fed up that the police have to have that conversation too. They say these acts of violence need to stop. Who was a member of the Black Barons featured in that story, he told me that he believes he can still go toe-to-toe with some of these current Barons out here, so they may want to watch out. Mike, there's still enough snow out here on top of Red Mountain. If you want to have a snowball fight after the show, I'll wait on you.
I'll send some of the younger folks out after the newscast to do that, Kalisha. Thanks very much.
We're live here in Birmingham. We're live here in Bessemer. Live here in Clay. For now, we're live here in Homewood. Here until 8 o'clock at Target. You can come out and meet the people, and you can come out and get in on the wobble with us. I'm going to go back to the wobble. I'll see you guys later. For now, we're live here in Alabaster. Kalisha Whitman, Alabama's 13 News.
Thanks, Kalisha. I never got to do the wobble on a live shot.
He told me he knows numerous homeless people who have stayed inside, and he told me that he has also stayed inside of that building before himself. Mike, lots of shelters in Birmingham, but they get full, and when they get full, people still need somewhere to go. A city filled with medical advances and a rich history. But there is another side to Birmingham that you may not know. Lorenzo Parks knows that side of the city all too well.
I live at the firehouse shelter.
He's homeless, and some nights there isn't enough room for him here.
When you can't get into the firehouse, you have to find you somewhere else to go.
And that somewhere else to go was here. Lorenzo says he's sure the people who died that were found under the brick and burnt wood where the house used to be were homeless. If you say that particular house that burned, you have stayed there before.
Yes. It was about 4 or 5 months ago.
On one of those cold nights, Lorenzo says there were no more spots at the shelter. He found shelter in the house that was here with other homeless people.
Telling me, walking the streets all night. Another friend of mine, he was telling me about this house. Yes, then when you go, it's empty. But it was a nice house. You can get you some cover and go on up in there and stay in there.
But he never knew the place where he thought he could go to seek shelter would be the scene of a fire investigation where 3 people died and 1 person ended up in the hospital.
My sympathy go out to the family.
Because he says he can't help but thinking it could have been him, buried beneath the rubble. The identities have not been released. An investigation into who the people were inside, what they were doing, and why they were there is still ongoing. For now, we're live here in Birmingham Southside. Kalisha Whitman, Alabama's 13 News.
Kalisha Whitman's been looking at that story now, and I think you have one of the ways they're working on.
Jerry Tracy, it's so hot. I have to say both of your names tonight. I rolled my sleeves like you. You know, Jerry, I met a man today that said it's so hot he saw a bird flying with an umbrella on its head. Okay, so
I'm not buying that, but that's all right.
But seriously, you know, it is hot. And in Alabaster, they've set up some cooling stations. That's just one of the area cities that's doing that. But for some people, no matter how hot it is, they're still fine. The heat is nothing to play with or play in. Hence the lonely swing set or the playground that's shaded, yet there isn't a child in sight. Why try to beat the heat when you can avoid it altogether? But a little heat won't stop Cole Panazic's feet.
My parents think I'm probably a little bit crazy running out here in this heat.
He won't even let what his parents think stop him from making it to the finish line, let alone the hot temperature.
I enjoy it. It's good exercise. I'm the only one out here most of the time. It's a good way to clear my head.
And luckily for Cole and this dog, there are cooling stations set up here at Veterans Park in Alabaster. A fan and some sprinklers. Because Alabaster Mayor David Fring says sometimes the heat is more than people can bear.
It's kind of like stepping in a convection oven right now. You know, the later it gets in the day, and particularly if you're walking near an asphalt parking lot, one of the shopping centers, something like that, that just makes it even hotter.
And the hotter it is, the more Cole sweats. I can't tell you how he stands the heat, but I can tell you why he does it. Cole said when he was in high school, he weighed 350 pounds. So he started running in the park, and now he weighs 200.
I love running. It's the best thing I've ever done. It's changed my life.
So no matter if the temps reach the triple digits, Cole's iPod will be in hand, and the wind will be at his back. And it was hot out there today. Also, Jerry, there was water at some of those cooling stations just in case people needed a little, you know, extra hydration out there. And the Senior Citizen Center in Alabaster, help me out, Jerry, now when I start fumbling now, help me out. It will be open on Saturdays and Sundays from 9 to 6. And people can also register with the city if they know of someone who may be at risk for the heat.
Kalisha Whitman attended that memorial service today. I know you've already told me it was an emotional time for everyone there and people who covered it as well.
Yes, Mike, it was. And at points, even for me, it was hard to hold back some of those tears. And they also said that today was about focusing, you know, on the recovery. Mayor Walt Maddox said that the city will rebound. Also, the probate judge here in Tuscaloosa County spoke, and he said that he believes that the darkest hour will be the city's finest hour. But for some of the families, Mike, you know, it's still a day-by-day process. So tonight, rather than speaking in my stories like I normally do, I just decided to kind of let the day speak for itself. Here it is.
Today we mark a somber event in our state's history. Just seeing this date of April the 27th on the calendar stirs up strong emotions for Alabamians.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
1 year anniversary of the F4 tornado which tore through our city, leaving behind massive destruction and claiming the lives of 53 of our fellow citizens.
Lake United Methodist Church will toll bells 53 times, one in memory of each person in Tuscaloosa who was lost due to the storm.
Blind, but now I see.
Still taking it one day at a time.
You know, Mike, Governor Bentley said that we also have to make sure that we remember the survivors. That's a very important aspect, too. And the theme for the memorial service today was out of the chaos comes hope. And, of course, the hope here in Tuscaloosa is that the city will continue to move forward. For now, we're live here in Birmingham. Kalisha Whitman, Alabama's 13 News.